Ciao friends! In this video, I want to explain you the difference between using time intelligence functions and scalar functions. The reason is I see many people making a mistake, using time intelligence calculations as if they were scalar functions. It's wrong, and let me show you that with an example. Imagine that in a report like this one, I have the year, the month, the sales amount, and I want to compute the number of days in the period, so the number of days in January, February, March, and so on. Computing it is not hard. You only need to subtract from the last day of the month the first day of the month. The difference in days between the first and the last date is the number of days in the period. So a possible implementation is this one. That says days in period is last date of date minus first date of date. And then I cast it to an integer because I want a number as the result. It works, and this is exactly the measure that I am pushing it here. But the thing is, I'm using the wrong function. Because what I want to obtain in this code is the last date as a date. I want the date which is the last date. Last date is not the same as the last date. Last date is a time intelligence function. As a time intelligence function, it is designed to return a table. And the reason is, last date, as any time intelligence function, has been created to use as a filter in Calculate. So you use last date in expressions like this. Look, sales on last date. This calculation returns the sales for only the last date of the period, and it is using last date as a filter argument in Calculate. This last date returns a table containing one date that will act as a filter. Now, let's double check it. We can check the result of last date by using DAX Studio. I already have a connection with DAX Studio here, and in DAX Studio you can run queries. So we can run a query like evaluate date, for example. Date in single quotes. Because date is a table, it will return some result. Evaluate does not accept numbers, it does not accept values as its result. If you write evaluate 1, this is not going to work, and you see that it produces an error. It says the expression specified is not a valid table expression. 1 is not a table. If you want a table containing 1, then you need to enclose it in curly braces so that it returns a table containing only one value. Now, let's go back to last date. If I evaluate last date of date the result comes out as the 31 December of 2011. It's a table containing only one value. So, last date does not return a number, it returns a table. If you want to get a number, you should not use last date, you use max. Evaluate max does not work because it is not a table. I need to enclose max inside curly braces in order to transform it into a table and see the same result as last date. So keep that in mind, last date returns a date. Let's go back to our previous code now. Here we have days in period. What is this code actually doing? It's taking a table, last date and date, and from that table it is subtracting another table. So it's subtracting from one table another table, which doesn't make a lot of sense. The thing is, DAX, whenever you have a table that contains only one row and one column, can automatically convert this one row, one column table into the scalar value, the number contained in that table. That happens automatically, but it comes with a price. Therefore, using last date or first date to retrieve the minimum or the maximum values of any table, any date column is a waste of time. A much better implementation is not to use last date, but to use max to retrieve the date and min to retrieve the minimum date. Max and min, they are no table function, they will return the scalar value. Nothing changes in the code, everything is absolutely identical to what we were doing earlier, but this code is faster and better. And beside that, if you are still making confusion between last date, min, or first date, last date and max, or first date and min, that means you still have not clear the difference between a scalar function and a table function. Therefore, it's worth investing some time in order to learn all these details. Besides, there are also performance differences between using last date or using max. Generally speaking, whenever you want a scalar value, max is much faster. It does not perform context transition and it does not require the automatic conversion. More details on this can be found on the sqlbi.com website, where you can read the article, download the web file, and read more details about this. Have fun with DAX!